Talk about animals. Because we have a video here by Casual Geographic that is called The Psychopathic Hunting Habits of Satan's Favorite Bird. That title is cursed. Absolutely cursed. One thing that I can say for sure is this. There are certain animals, at least certain birds, that I definitely see as being problematic, to say the least. Which one should we start with? The shoebill. The shoebill is like the most hood animal to ever exist, as it can often be confused as being a drive-by shooting. If you've ever heard of shoebill, you know what I'm talking about. Next one would be the magpie, the Australian bird there, that everybody's saying do not swoop, but they will definitely swoop the eyes out of your sockets, because those things are freaking aggressive. Next one on the satanic birds. The harpy bird is one that is a great reminder that Brazil is not for everybody. And there's a last one that I'm not too sure how to pronounce, the cassowary. Let me look it up. I need to show you a picture of the cassowary, because that thing is literally prehistoric. There we go. Look at his head. Tell me that this thing is not a dinosaur. It looks ancient. Let's see what he has to say here on these satanic, god damn it, psychopathic hunting habits of Satan's favorite birds.
Nani? Slick back. That's what I said. Slick back. No, I'm a pimp named Slick back. Pimp named Slick back.
You see this nest? You want to know what built this nest? You don't want to know what built this nest. You want to know what made these bones? You don't want to know what made these.
Yikes.
This bird's a buckbeak coated me to my mental stability. The harpy eagle is a homicidal hippogriff with the jungle census on its hit list. And a big reason is harpies having the largest claws of any bird. Not only do they have vice grip talons that could comfortably dap up a grizzly bear's paws, they say getting grip by them is like getting caught in a Rottweiler's jaws. They're the national bird of Panama, but you finna be pantomiming once this Jurassic reject takes your breath. By crushing your windpipe, but by far.
I thought that they were in the Amazon. That's why I made the Brazil joke. Okay, well, never mind.
The most out-of-pocket thing is what nature went ahead and did with their wings. Unlike most birds its size, harpy eagles have relatively short wings. I'm talking about if eagles were the NBA, this would be their build. But the short wings just means this life unsubscription service can duck and weave through the dense jungle to catch a body. Which also means there are very few things alive in the Amazon that a hunting harpy can't pack up. From monkeys and sloths, to armadillos, snakes, and porcupines, to other predators like ocelots and foxes. They'll also body other birds like parrots, and they'll even murk other raptors like vultures. But then, what even is a raptor? The answer might just surprise you. Raptors are what most people might call birds of prey, which is already a problem because there's plenty of other birds that'll have you preying. So the raptor title gets gatekept to the birds with all three: a sharp hooked beak, a Jurassic style pedicure and talons, and an OP sense of sight. So without a hooked beak but webbed feet, the demonic garbage chute misses the cut. Chronic Crash Out the Canada Goose doesn't sit at the raptor lunch table, because if it did, it probably would have seen that coming. But the whole raptor thing's a pain in the prostate, and it's because raptors, they're basically cats that can fly. You remember the cat video I made and how insanely convoluted the names got? Like how a black panther isn't actually an animal, a cat called a panther isn't actually a panther, a snow leopard is genetically closer to a tiger, and how a cougar pushing 220 ain't a big cat, but a cat barely a $110 is. Raptors are low-key the same, where the name raptor doesn't describe a family reunion, but like Black Panther, raptor is more like a description. But I'm gonna get to that. Now, the other problem with raptors is that nature basically bamboozled them. Of course, the ability to fly is broken, but it comes with hollow bones. Now, hollow bones aren't to keep the bird light enough for flight. It's more that pneumatic bones are filled with air and so give extra oxygen to fuel their flight. But it also means a broken bone is a career-ending injury for an avian, and as hunters, they run the risk of getting folded by their own prey. The compromise is, raptors have some of the most heinously creative ways of confiscating consciousness, revoking your existence. Whatever you want to call it, the bird of prey hunting strat is straight out of the pages of a mob boss's torture diary, and we can.
Dude, imagine being final destination by a bird. If those weren't so small, I would imagine like a happy bird carrying a rock, but literally attacking cars. It's a good thing that they aren't that hostile to humans, at least not like the magpie is. Satan's prostate being punched. This guy's a wordsmith. I love him. I love him for that.
Let's start with the secretary bird, aka Jurassic Park in yoga pants. Named after the fact that, like a secretary, they'll connect you to the big boss upstairs if you give them the chance. They cancel prey by kicking them in the head until they flatline or just lie flat, and their usual targets are snakes. The combo of delivering multiple kicks in a time it takes to blink, and how disrespectfully accurate they are, all adds up to a 6-piece serpent assault where they spam a river dance on a snake's skull until it caves in, leaving the snake out of order like a reptile dysfunction. You gotta hand it to them. That's pretty metal. Actually, you should do the opposite since the function. You gotta.
Did you read what he wrote
They spam a river dance on a snake's skull until it caves in, leaving the snake out of order like a reptile dysfunction.
Don't think so. Justice for Gotham. That's so good.
You gotta hand it to them. That's pretty metal. Actually, you should do the opposite since the Kung Fu Crane can apparently shatter the bones in a human hand. And it's not just snakes. Secretaries will go after things like cheetah cubs and baby gazelle. I think
Petition to change the name of secretaries to Kung Fu Crane.
now is a good time to mention they can be an honest 4 feet tall, with a thigh gap no less. As you can see, they're liable to violate snakes and beauty standards, all while being one of the few birds with 2 pairs of wings, no Red Bull. This high-stepping battery charges with all the smoke, literally, because they'll gather around brush fires just for the opportunity to murk any small animal running for its life. Don't let the pretty privilege distract you. It's an African assassin chicken in thigh boots dressed like a recently divorced mother of 3. And they're not the only ones, because I'll be honest, I low-key forgot this bird existed. This is a Seriama. It's basically a Latin secretary bird, but the real family tree flex is they're the only living relatives of terror birds. Yes, those terror birds. They might be less vertically gifted at less than 2 feet tall, but instead of kicking, Seriamas rather body slam their prey to death. The dinosaur time forgot will grab prey and slam them into the ground or against a rock repeatedly. They'll spam suplex as many times as it takes for the bones to break. And if you're too big for all that, they'll use the same sickle claw their prehistoric cousins used to hold down prey and disembowel it alive. So if you get targeted by a Seriama, you'll either get the Hulk to Loki treatment, except from a travel-sized terror turkey, eviscerated and violated while pinned by a weaponized toenail, or just swallowed clean like a vorophile's wet dream. So far, we have a curb-stomping aggro bird and a mob boss build and terror bird final form. And we're just getting started. This is a kite, and before you ask, this was named after the bird, not the other way around. A kite is like the forgotten little brother of eagles and hawks, and like a kite, they catch bodies by hovering above the ground and waiting for movement so they can...
We have those here? Whenever I bike to the gym, there's always one hanging around. I don't know exactly if they're like they originate from up here, like Northern Europe, but we have a bunch of them here.
Swoop down and snatch it. I believe kiting is the expression. They're pretty cool. They grief many of the insects that make life slightly less worth living. The 17-year cicada parade is basically their Super Bowl. Like the secretary bird, they too will gather around grass fires, and any animal trying to run from the smoke gets ironically cooked. But Australian black kites take it a step felony by carrying burning twigs and dropping them on patches of grass. An act of avian arson that got them another name: Firehawks. Apparently this is nothing new, with records of them stealing brands from indigenous cooking fires and dropping them half a mile away. There have even been scientific records of them dropping bread into water to bait small fish, and if it wasn't for this clip, I probably wouldn't believe it. You'd think an aerial arsonist airdrop.
What? You beat it? Okay, that is so clever. I would have never believed it either. What the hell?
If it wasn't for this clip, I probably wouldn't believe it. You'd think an aerial arsonist airdropping Inferno in a country that has up to 60,000 wildfires a year would immediately get blacklisted. But no, black kites are protected because once again, of course, a felon with wings is above the law. They're also banned in Boston, but only because we all know Boston can't stand the heat. Now I have a whole video on owls, so I'm not gonna talk too much about them. But this is the start of what I was talking about, because you'd normally expect a raptor to be related to other raptors. Instead, the owl's closest relative looks like a Muppet flashlight. Flashlight?
No. Why did he put that word in my head? With this picture, bruv. You cannot do this. Flashlight. Buddy.
Well, I can't say that. Owls are predators on incognito, thanks to feathers that allow them to fly almost completely silently. Again, you don't realize how unsettling that is till you go to bed a family and wake up a single mother. They also have a satellite dish for a face and uneven ears, so even under a foot of snow, they can hear exactly where you're about to go. Owls are 100% the closest thing to cryptids with wings, and while they haven't murked people, allegedly, there's plenty of predators that do feed off unsuspecting humans with wings, and while they haven't murked people, allegedly, there's plenty of predators that do feed off unsuspecting humans, just like you, including arguably the worst predator of all, data brokers. There's a lot of data brokers that feed themselves by collecting your personal information and selling it to the highest bidder. And it's deeper than selling your browser history to companies wanting to know what to sell you back. Some insurance companies will team up with brokers and actually raise your rates based on what you put out online. Cyber criminals can steal personal info like your social security from a broker.
Listen,
and if you've ever gotten one of those robocalls,
having a bird called a flashlight today was not what I expected when I clicked on this video, okay? That's nuts.
Two, I don't have a real job.
You can't write suddenly in the comment, brothers, we must stay focused. Bruv. That's a wild take, dude. Mythical coffee.
You go to incogni.com/casualgeo and use the code casualgeo for 60% off an annual plan to guard your private
Yeah, of course, I'm taking
'Cause believe me,
suggestions.
if you knew some of the places your info is right now, your head would spin. Kind of like, wait for it. Yeah, there it is. That's what it looks like to get folded by a falcon. You see, falcons are cool, but they're weaker than eagles and hawks, so instead they commit to the fastest hit and runs on Earth. Literally, the fastest. So falcons like the peregrine will start up high and dive, that's called the stoop, and once the flying derecho hits triple-digit miles per hour, they'll ball up their feet like a fist. So yeah, they really do falcon punch their prey in the past tense. Didn't even give them time to duck. Not only that, but falcons also have a toenail tooth made specifically to snap spinal cords and send prey to the Lord like Sunday service, all while flying. The one-shot specialist has been known to snipe bald and golden eagles threatening their nest. And there was one time a snowy owl murked a falcon fledgling, so the mother falcon went and life-deprived the owl. There's a lot of ways falcons are built for speed, but the biggest flex is that they have the fastest processing speed of any animal
Oh
alive.
yeah.
Compared to us, they see the world in slow motion. Falcons are dope, but because of them we have to address the whole raptor thing again. Because instead of hawks, eagles, or any other bird of prey, the missile with wings is most related to parrots. So again, raptor isn't a family name, most of them aren't even closely related. But there are a lot of falcons, like the American kestrel. I like them because they're pretty.
Yeah.
Small. The colorway ain't bad either. They also factory reset prey by stabbing them in the back of the head with that tooth, but you can't deny this psychopath's cute. The black-thighed falconet is the smallest bird of prey in the weight class of a sparrow, yet they also find a way to pack up other birds. The pygmy falcon is a nest pirate that often shacks up in the homes of weaver birds. Normally it's a good gig with the pygmies clearing out snakes and lizards, but sometimes they'll switch up and kill their weaver bird roommates, so there's that. But there's another falcon that might just be the biggest bird off of all, and it might also be the most underrated. Next to bad is the caracara. The caracara is a black Air Force parrot. Unlike every other falcon, they'd rather handle business on the ground. They live on honey badger timings, since they'll pull up to a carcass and bully bigger vultures out the way. Crested caracara is a special kind of klepto. They'll straight up mob other birds like pelicans and press them into vomiting their lunch so they can have it. Striated caracaras and a Pennywise level threat to minor safety.
Ew, that's nasty. Okay, that's straight up disgusting. Hey, throw that up. Now, I'm gonna eat your dinner. But it's already in my stomach. Did I stutter?
You know, raptor comes from the Latin word to seize or take by force. That's what this avian Amber Alert lives by. Caracaras will also link up with each other and form gangs and have honest-to-God turf wars. Even back in the day, they were on Darwin's radar. In 1830, he mentioned how curious they were, but also how annoying it was to live around a bird that'll steal anything that isn't nailed down. Turns out this affiliated delinquent of a bird is low-key the gifted student of the raptor class, and is even smart enough to solve puzzles for fun. Basically, caracaras are if the peregrine falcon and the secretary bird had a baby, but it was adopted and raised by crows and tutored by the key on weekends. Just an overall underrated menace of a dinosaur, but also a hyper-intelligent, talented opportunist. Actually, I take that back. Vultures might be the most underrated. People assume something with the feeding habits of a casket is a pushover, and they do get their cookies taken by other raptors. But vultures very much can be about that life too, especially since black vultures often won't wait for an animal to expire. They'll put weak, sick, or young animals on a shirt. Some farmers know all too well. Sometimes they'll wait for a cow to give birth just to jump the newborn and return to sender. Sometimes they won't even wait and they'll move on a cow in labor and act like the world's most malicious midwives. Getting violated by vultures means eyes gouged out, tongue torn off, and they'll even break through the back door. Basically the booty warrior of birds, but unlike boondocks, this one's protected by law from a
Okay. I'm a warrior. I like you, and I want you. We can do this the easy way, or we can do it the hard way. The choice is yours. No, this is so wrong. This is so wrong.
A surgical psychopath to a scavenger. Yet a bearded vulture eats almost nothing but bones, and they've even been known to swallow ones nearly a foot long. But once in a while, they'll go after the living, sometimes in the form of airdropping the tortoise hundreds of feet to feed on the insides like a piñata. You know, mountain climbers were so spiritually disturbed by the beardy, they called it the bird of Satan. To be fair, they have a square ring around their eyes that fills with blood when stressed and makes their eyes turn bloodshot when running a fade. The Grim Reaper's working with a whole showering gun activated. I don't blame him, that is demonic character design. Also, a bearded vulture allegedly murked a man with a turtle shell to the head like Mario Kart, which sounds fake, but keep in mind, there's a woman walking around with scars from breaking a porcupine's fall. RNG can be a real ad. All that, and you still can't show me a bird with the harpy eagle's aura. We already mentioned the life-canceling claws that could probably crush your skull, which is why harpy eagles have a prey list of over 116 species. And that includes putting other raptors like Seriamas and vultures on shirts. But don't think for one second nature came out with this and stopped there. The African crowned eagle is basically the harpy of the motherland. Same survival-revoking claws, and same short wings to make it a menace to monkey kind. And they're the only raptor to allegedly see people as prey, with reports of human child remains in nests and the infamous tongue child believed to have been packed up by an African crown. Honestly, any continent outside of Penguin Land has at least one of these eagles. Australian wedgetails go after kangaroos and dingoes, and their territory will enough to fade a $1,000 drone on site. There was one.
Okay, fair enough. Dude, if there's an eagle that can take away the dingo, fine. I rock with that. Quite literally. If you know, the rock is a giant, but fuck, that was a bad joke. But no. You know the whole thing about the dingo ate my baby, and literally a movie that was made about it. This lady who was supposedly had killed her own child, but it was actually an animal that had done the deed. Yeah, and it literally became a meme that is now employed in pop culture all the time.
Maybe the dingo ate your baby.
But yeah, if there's a deterrent for those dingoes in the form of an avian, yeah, why not?
One time a wedgie fought a helicopter and won, past tensing a pilot in the process. RIP. The North American golden eagle has a hit list of prey in the 400s. But really their claim to fame is how they'll give goats a first-class flight to the gulag with no return trip. I'm sorry, this is so disrespectful. Look at this animation. He gave him an NPC death, gave him nothing but time to reflect. There's the Philippine eagle, which honestly mogs the out of everyone for no reason. But there might not be a bigger flex than the stellar sea eagle. You know, if this wasn't on camera, nobody'd ever believe you. It's one of the heaviest eagles on Earth with an 8-foot wingspan. It's an oppressive force in Featherface that's apparently been seen carting off seals. Clearly the meteor told them to take a sick day, cause dog, you're not telling me that's not a dinosaur. And low-key, they might go the same way. For all the harpy hate I was talking, there's no recorded case of a harpy eagle killing or even attacking a human. In fact, it's them not being afraid of humans that can get them put on a shirt by poachers. Add habitat destruction, and if raptors like them aren't endangered, they're at least in danger of being endangered. Which is why you got places like the Raptor Trust in Millington, New Jersey, looking after all kinds of birds from Ollie the kestrel to Virgil the turkey vulture. They got couples too, like Mariah and Thor the golden eagles. They're mad cute together. And of course, a symbol of America, Colonel and Uno. Uno because of the whole one wing thing. Even though they're technically not raptors, I even met Ray the Raven. You know what's crazy? He's in a cage, and he's in a relationship with another wild raven. Like, he'll even sneak food between the bars of his cage for her. You know what's crazier? His girl has a whole nother family in the wild. I usually don't rock with homewreckers, but I'm rocking with Ray. But like I said, my favorites were definitely the owls, especially this barred owl named Sunny. I think he liked me. Although the vulture's gotta be a close second, since they'll literally walk up and follow you around like a puppy. Oh, this isn't sponsored, by the way. I just had a good time and wanted to shout them out. So if you're ever in the area, the Raptor Trust in Millington, New Jersey, 100% recommended. But that's gonna do it for this video. Drink water, hug your mother, don't forget that. Shout out to Incogni for sponsoring this video. Shout out to the Pigeon Paralysis Demon for sponsoring Imagination. And I'm gonna see y'all in the next one.
This is why we love cats. Mine literally does that. It annoys the out of birds. Where's Griffith? Griffith is already in one place. He got representation in Elden Ring. I think that's enough. That's enough for him. And even better, you know what? He did that in June.
Raiden, show me who did it. She kinda bad though. Is that Frost?
Bro, that's still gay. No, you're gay.
So you get the implications. Okay, this video was wild. The NPC death there was the wildest one. And of course, all of the innuendos that were mentioned. Still, freaking nature's flashlight. Oh, no, that image is going to be stuck in my head for the rest of the day. That was nice. But yeah, subscribe to some casual Geographics if you want to see more of those kind of descriptions and wonderful lingo.